You are now live.
We are now live, and we aren't that late. This clock is fast. Senator Siraki, can you hit,
Yes,
got it?
Yes, I got it.
It's his turn. He's the closest one today.
I'm getting good at that.
Okay. So committee, Tucker is here. And let's see. Subjects. Okay, liquor and lottery. We've got a couple things we didn't get yesterday on that one. But Tucker is here and Dan, and this is H512, modernizing land records and notarial acts law. So why is it in finance? Ops.
Well, good afternoon, Committee. Tucker Anderson, Office of Legislative Counsel. I believe that H512 has come to your committee because it contains some fee updates in one of the sections. So generally what H512 is doing is it is adopting two uniform acts, the Uniform Real Property Electronic Recording Act, which allows the recorders of the state to record land records and some other pertinent records in electronic form. And it also updates Vermont's revised uniform law on notarial acts, which will allow notaries public to conduct their official acts through electronic means. And as a component of that, there is a new endorsement that is being established through OPR for these notaries. It's called a special commission endorsement that will allow the notary to conduct these official acts through electronic means. So if you go to page 14, at least in the as passed by House unofficial version, and you take a look at section.
I was in Gov Ops, so let's go back to. It's recommended, I've got as recommended by Committee on Government Operations. Is what I've got posted.
Tucker, do you want me to post the as passed by House?
That may be useful because I'm not certain that the GovOps amendment contains the entire bill.
I'll do that right away and send it to people in
Okay.
email.
Coach is asking me to do the bills.
Yeah,
I'll
I
go
just,
get them and sit here till they call me, but I don't have the
Okay.
bills with me.
I just got back from a probes. We should call some of their people over here, just for the fun of it. Okay. So we're waiting for that to update, and that takes a minute or two.
I'll send it in email first so you can
Okay,
look at it. So it's on the way in email.
So we're looking at has passed the House, you said?
Yes.
there it is. Okay, well, I think we've got it on email now, so walk us through.
If you go to page 14, at least in the version that I'm looking at, and you look at section 5324,
All right, get out the Dramamine here. 10, 12, 14, okay.
these are the fees that notaries pay for their commissions, and in this case, for the new special commission endorsement. The current fee for a notary public is $15. The bill raises that fee to $30 just for the commission. And then in subsection B, you'll see that the new special commission endorsement is also set at $30.
Okay, and this is the endorsement that allows them to,
become notaries, right?
well, one is to become a notary, and the other one, the endorsement is to file certain bills electronically or to do certain work electronically.
To do certain work electronically. So that is notarizing official documents, certifying copies, and administering oaths. Those are the three primary actions that they can take with what the bill calls remotely located individuals. So persons who are not in the immediate presence of the notary.
Okay, but the notary is witnessing grandma's will. How, now, I assume that has to be done with some kind of visuals, right? Not just over the phone?
That is correct. You have to be able to see and hear the person through the communication technology. You have to be able to verify the documents. There's a procedure that follows the electronic witnessing where the records have to be sent to the notary within a certain number of days. The record of the audio-visual recording has to be kept for a default 10-year period, potentially a longer period if necessary.
Who has to keep them?
The notary.
I'm gonna ask the question that came up when you're voting, but would be more important when grandma's writing her will. How do I know that the grandson is not off camera with a weapon as grandma is giving him power of attorney to sell her house? And we've had several instances, and I know we've changed power of attorney so you can give it, so everything but selling your house can happen. Was there any discussion about that?
Quickly going to the duties and limitations section of the bill to rescan. There are built into the bill, there are enumerated requirements. Again, this is a uniform law. So this has been adopted by a commission that prescribes these laws. And from what I understand, the majority of the states have adopted this, right? So first.
What page, Tucker, can you orient us to the language?
Yes. If you go to page 20, and this is in section 5379, notarial act performed for remotely located individual. In subsection B, it provides that the notary public can perform these notarial acts using communication technology. First, if the notary holds the special commission. Second criteria, if the notary has personal knowledge of the identity of the individual who's asking for the notarization. Second, has satisfactory evidence of the identity of the individual by oath or affirmation from a credible witness appearing before the notary public, or has obtained satisfactory evidence of the identity of the remotely located individual by using at least two different types of identity proofing. Identity proofing is defined for purposes of the bill as a series of questions or technology that involves questions that only that person could know. So for example, identifying addresses listed on income tax filings from previous years, things like that. Third criteria, that the notary public is reasonably able to confirm that a record before the notary is the same one that appears during the electronic notarization. Fourth, the notary public creates an AV recording of the performance of the notarial act. And then subdivision 5 establishes specific criteria for persons located outside of the United States. Now, that does not directly address the question that was raised about how do you know whether someone is being unduly influenced. And my response would be that this is about authenticating records. That's what the notary is doing in this context. The notary is not executing a will, not executing any of these records. That is something that an attorney and the client would do separately or in conjunction with the notarization, but it wouldn't fall within the scope of the notary's duties. The notary here is just saying, yes, I can verify that this person is signing this document, and I can confirm that this is the actual document that they are signing. That's really the scope of the duties of a notary public in this context. This doesn't go so far as to authorize the execution of certain documents through electronic means. Only that the notary can fulfill their duties with respect to those records through electronic means.
Senator Pearson, does this change? I want to get back to the fees in a minute. I think we should, but does this change, Ruth?
I can't say, I have to go deal with something for the budget, so.
Well, we're losing our quorum.
Well,
Does this change?
We're losing our quorum here.
Does this change? If I need a notary and I'm a resident of Vermont, do I need to visit a Vermont Rotary, or are we dialing up the prospect of 1-800 phone a Rotary and, some sort of, I don't know that there's a big business prospect there, but yeah.
Faith?
Yes, sir.
We don't have a quorum right now. And
Would you
until-
like to end live stream?
Yes.
Until we have one,
Ending live stream?
the chair has just returned,
Oh,
so we now have a quorum again.
okay.
Thank
I
you.
saw Senator Hardy being
Yeah.
escorted down the hall. I hope it's yield bill. Pro Tem and her assistant was with her. Okay,
So we heard that, to answer your question, they're only certifying that it's a legit document. They're not executing anything.
okay.
And I asked, does this sort of open up discount notaries from other places in Vermont? And I don't know that I care about that, but it strikes me that right now I need to notarize something. I go to the bank or I find a lawyer friend and get the stamp. And this seems to change that a lot. So could you help me understand some of those rules?
So this question actually came up when the bill was in Senate Government Operations. The question was, does this open the door to an interstate market for these services? And the answer is no, because in section 5379, and we're on the same set of pages that we just worked through a moment ago, 19 and 20, it leads in by saying that a notary public that is located in this state may perform a notarial act using electronic means. Notary publics, as defined for purposes of this chapter, also have to be commissioned in Vermont. So these would be Vermont commissioned notaries that are located in the state that are permitted to perform these notarial acts. Now, one thing that this does do is it allows these Vermont notaries located in the state to perform notarial acts in any other state where that is legal for them to do. So this accepts the idea that you can notarize records for individuals that are located outside of Vermont and in certain instances outside of the United States, provided that certain criteria are met.
Okay, so it helps our notaries, but it doesn't send Vermonters to discount notaries from Louisiana.
Unless those discount notaries from Louisiana are located in Vermont and commissioned here.
Got it. Okay, I see. Thank you.
For the record, Madam Chair, I believe after you left, the witness said that the purpose of the notary was to authenticate persons and documents, and didn't include the
Witnessing of a will.
well, it didn't include someone standing in the room coercing some
Okay,
during the process. And I'm sure that the witness will say it, verify what I just said better than I said it.
it's just a question that
Yeah.
really comes up and needs to be asked. So our jurisdiction really is on, what was that, page 14, which is the fee. Now, $30 doesn't sound like a high fee. Why? I thought it was $10 to be a notary, but I'm not.
Why is it
Um,
doubling?
Why is it doubling?
The answer is that's what the Secretary of State's office and OPR asked for. And they
Okay.
did some research on what the national average was for some of these fees, and what the costs of administering the commission program and monitoring notaries is. The national average was $31 for these commissions and for the special endorsements. And $30 was adequate to cover the costs associated with the program. And I believe, but I won't promise, that Dan Dickerson will be able to talk about
A little bit more.
the fees
Because
and the associated costs.
We did a major overhaul just prior to COVID, so maybe 4 years ago, of the notary statute and made it much more professional.
That included putting it under OPR,
Yeah.
from what I recall.
So OPR has now come back and said, this is what it's going to take to regulate this profession. Okay,
Could you remind us how long is it still as much as 4 years, but it all I used to be a notary a long time ago to register voters. And everyone in the state expired on the same day, once every 4 years or something. Is it still that same setup?
I am not certain. I'm going to look it up now. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, because that's how our liquor licenses work as well.
well, until we pass the bill today. Maybe.
Maybe.
Let me take a look at that, Senator Pearson. and try
Okay,
to
we can
find
go
out.
on to Dan Dickerson. So Dan, are you there? There you are. Okay, you have a fiscal note?
Yes, Dan Dickerson, Joint Fiscal. Do you all have the note, or should I bring? Well, I don't know if you could actually see it from.
It's
Where you
on
are.
our webpage.
Okay.
It is up on the,
So there are two provisions that have fiscal impacts. There's section 4, which is creating a position. I doubt that you all are overly concerned with that. So I'm going to skip right to section 5, where the fee is increased. My understanding is that notary commissioning is every 2 years. So currently you pay $15. It's good for 2 years. I think most renewals are due the same year. And so as far as revenues are concerned, there's 1 year where OPR, we collect a lot of revenues from the commissionings, and there's another year where I think they're only getting sort of the new folks that come on that particular year. So what I've projected based on current commissionings is that in fiscal year 23, when most existing notaries would have to recommission, we would see 160,000 in new revenue that would go to the OPR, the Professional Regulatory Fee Fund. And then in fiscal 24, it would be another 20,000 in new revenue from just the smattering of new folks that would come on. And so in total over 2 years, it's 180,000 of new revenue from raising the commissioning fee from 15 to 30. On top of that, although I haven't given a projection, the bill is proposing a new fee of $30 for notaries to attain the special endorsements. I have no idea how many folks will opt into that. It could be most, it could be few, but I did just want to note that on top of the revenue raised by increasing the commissioning fee, there is the potential for a decent amount of new revenue from this endorsement fee. And that would start as soon as OPR writes the rules that would regulate how the endorsement process would work out. So that could happen in FY23 at some point. More realistically, it would probably be, FY24 when folks would begin opting into the endorsements.
Okay. It's a plus, so I don't think we worry about an unknown increase. It's not going to be a whole lot of money in the scheme of things. So committee, our decision is, are we gonna concur?
Second motion.
I would love a motion.
I move we concur with H512. Although we've been looking at the version as it passed the House, so, but that includes the fees, right? Maybe Tucker. So our motion. So the Senate GovOps didn't mess with that part, is that kind of what I understand?
That's correct. Senate GovOps didn't touch the fees.
This is, we're approving H512
As it came to us.
as presented from the Committee on GovOps.
That is correct.
As amended by the Committee on GovOps.
The report of the Committee on Government Operations, I think, is how the Senate styles it.
Okay, the report of the committee, all right?
Yeah, that's what I moved.
All right, that's what he moved. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say no. I've got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 2. Okay, who would like to report that? Senator McDonald,
I think I can handle this.
you think you should handle a $30 fee? Okay. So that gets us on, and this is the end of the session. I've got committee members. Okay, if you need to go at 2,
Yeah, I won't be long.
I've still got a quorum, and
We're scheduled for 3.
Pardon?
We're scheduled for 3 for conference committee on S11.
I think yesterday I asked you not to do that.
We didn't volunteer. Pro tem is pushing this.
Yeah, the pro tem is also pushing me.
You could try and cancel it.
I mean,
I'm indifferent. I didn't know if we could
if
cancel
we
it.
move this right along and I keep people in here, we could be done by 3:30 if we really. I don't know why we got the charter of the town of Montgomery, but we did. So let's move on. Is Ellen with us? We're a couple minutes
Did
fast.
we do all the motions we needed
I
to?
think so. We approved as
Yeah, we didn't
amended.
change it.
We didn't change it. So we're gonna move on. We've got 161 and 269, which have come back to us from the other body. And we're waiting on Ellen. Thank you, Tucker. Tucker will be back with us.
Senator, many of the lawyers are double booked, so
Okay.
I think we have to wait for them. I'm sorry.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Ending live stream now.